Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. It's your boy the Chaotic One. Today we're going to be doing what if Joe Biden's presidency is historically horrible. I did a video if Joe Biden's presidency was perfect. Now it's time to do the opposite of if his presidency is historically horrible. And so far we have the border crisis, the gas crisis, the cyber attack crisis. Biden's administration is trying to censor people on social media, which is getting heavy pushback from Republicans. Don't know so much about Democrats. I think they're just staying very quiet about it, honestly. I haven't heard anything from the Democrat side of things. If you're a Democrat, tell me what's your opinion about the Biden administration talking to Facebook and Twitter about censoring people. Um, Maybe you don't have no opinion on it, because I don't have an opinion on it. I think it's petty, honestly, but it's a business's right to do that. Now, maybe it's an abuse of power on Biden's part for wanting this to happen. I don't know. That's up to your interpretation. But let's say this things get worse. Our economy is destroyed. I've talked about how my senior year history teacher was an economics teacher, or an economics major. Sorry, I can't speak apparently. And he said that our economy was so fragile, and he worries about if Biden would be able to grow upon it, because it's just so fragile it might just shatter, and we don't have an economy no more, which could lead us into depression. So what if that happens? These crises get out of control, and we go into a depression. Biden has a very, very low approval. Let's say low 40s, high 30s. Let's say that. Very, very unpopular. He might get impeached by the House, acquitted by the Senate. I could see that happening. So let's just fill out this map just like I did last time. Oregon goes likely blue. Biden ended up winning it by 16. I think at this timeline, Joe Biden wins it by 9 this time around. Just a bunch of suburban counties would go for Donald Trump over Joe Biden, because, at least I'm not Donald Trump isn't going to work, because Biden would be a more worse president than Donald Trump. Nevada goes lean R. Donald Trump ends up winning the state by 3 points. Latinos does not revert back to Democrats. Instead, Donald Trump actually improves with minorities, especially Hispanics. So Donald Trump would win Washoe County, right? Washoe County by around a point or two, meaning Donald Trump ends up winning the state by around 3 points. I could see him winning Arizona by a likely margin, about 4 or 5 points, closer to lean than anything else. Again, Maricopa County reverts back to being a Republican county, and a bunch of Hispanics would go to Donald Trump, and as well as Mormons that might have voted for Biden. A first hot take, I guess you could say, is Donald Trump flips New Mexico. Just barely, though. No. One of these days, I'm going to be up here. One of these days, I'm going to. Also, thank y'all for so much for 200 subscribers. That was great. Makes them so happy. So Donald Trump ends up winning it by 0.6 or 0.7 in New Mexico. Again, a huge uptick of Hispanic vote for Republicans helps you there in New Mexico, especially the border crisis and the oil crisis. Or not the oil crisis, the inflation crisis. Don't know how I got those two mixed up. Good God. Too much history. Thinking about too much history lately. Colorado, there's not much change here. It's still a very blue state, a very progressive state. Joe Biden still probably wins this, probably around 7 or 8 points. This state is long gone for Republicans. Nebraska second, flips back to lean, close to likely. Donald Trump wins the state by around 2 or 3 points, close to 4. 3.2% I can see, 3.3. Minnesota, I would normally give it to Trump, but I think Biden would still hold on in Minnesota, just because the Minneapolis region is still growing so blue. And even if his presidency is historically horrible, I don't see Donald Trump winning the state. Now you might be saying, why does New Mexico flip but Minnesota isn't? I mean, think about it. Let's see. Let me give an example. Georgia flipped before North Carolina. Yeah, Georgia flipped for North Carolina in 2020. So anything is possible. So I could see this map happening. Joe Biden probably wins it by a point or two, only being carried by the Minneapolis area. What Trump flips Wisconsin, winning it by 5 points, closer to lean than safe by around 5 points, which would be a huge win for Republicans. If you were white working class voters that are Trump Biden voters would heavily swing back to Donald Trump this time around, possibly giving them both Michigan and Pennsylvania by lean margins, winning Michigan by 1 or 2 points and Pennsylvania by 2 or 3 points. These two would be very close, but Trump would still win them by a lean margin. Virginia, again, like Minnesota, there's nothing Donald Trump could really do in the state of Virginia. He probably reverts it back to 2008-2012 numbers where Joe Biden wins it by 3 or 4. Again, the urban areas, exurbs in urban areas are going to carry Joe Biden over in the state. Donald Trump probably ends up winning North Carolina by a lean, close to likely margin. This gives him the election, by the way. Donald Trump, black voters did not turn out in 2020 in the state of North Carolina. This is a fact. And in this scenario, they're not going to again. If they do, they're probably going to vote either third party or for Donald Trump in this scenario. Now, take this with a grain of salt. We don't know. We still have 4 years before the election happens, so anything can happen. So Donald Trump wins up winning it by 3 or 4. Georgia, the next tilt state on here, Donald Trump probably wins it barely. Again, similar to Minnesota and Virginia, the urban area grows just so much. There's nothing Republicans can do. I think 2024 is their last hurrah, but only in a best-case scenario. And maybe if a neocon like Nikki Haley or Jeb Bush, Nikki Haley could probably win the state of Georgia, albeit barely. Tim Scott can win it, albeit barely. Florida probably wins it by a likely margin. Probably Bush 2004 numbers, winning it by 6 or 7 points. Cubans are probably going to turn out heavily for Donald Trump, and as more Cubans are coming to the United States due to the whole Cuban thing, that's the Cuban independence thing is happening right now. I don't want to say Cuban independence, that's totally wrong. And Cubans are right-leaning voters just because of what's going on in Cuba, the whole socialism thing, they hate it. And seeing what's happening with the United States under the Joe Biden administration, they're going to heavily vote for Donald Trump, which, in my opinion, Cuban Americans will be a big geographical advantage for Republicans going forward, especially if we get more Cuban migrants. New Jersey, I think another hot take, I know. I think Joe Biden wins it by 8 or 9 points, a likely margin. As Joe Biden only won the state by 15 points, and as Oregon, he won it by 16. If that goes likely, I'm going to say this goes likely as well. It's a state that I do believe is trending red, as it's the fact is the only New England state besides New Hampshire and Maine that stayed under 15%, as everything else reverted back to being 20 points or more. New Jersey stayed 15%. If I'm not mistaken, it was 14 last time, so it reverted a little bit back, but it's still under 50%, still a best-case scenario victory for Republicans, and this is a best-case scenario for Republicans. New Hampshire, another tilt state. I think Donald Trump barely flips New Hampshire, as New Hampshire just hates incumbents with a passion. I don't know why. As Florida loves incumbents, the opposite can be said of New Hampshire. Just hates it. Hates incumbents. Oh my God, just hates incumbents. Barely, when Obama was president, Clinton barely won the state, and when Trump was president, Biden won it by 7 points. Jesus. So in this scenario, with increasing taxes, just maybe a drug abuse crisis possibly, which won't help the opioid crisis in New Hampshire. Donald Trump very may well flip the state. Maine at large. Biden won the state by 8 points, if I'm not mistaken, 8 or 9 points in 2020. How much would Trump win it, or how much would Biden win it under a worst case scenario for Joe Biden? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I'm gonna say it's tilted, though I'm very much on the fence about that. Very much. With Biden just barely hangs on, close to lean than a flip for Trump. So this is the final map for if Joe Biden's presidency is historically horrible. Donald Trump wins 322 electoral votes to Joe Biden's 216. And I also see Donald Trump winning this election. I really do. really do. So, hold on, I gotta sneeze. Wow, I think that's the first time I ever had to sneeze during a video, and I just had to cut. Oh my god. Sorry, you're not gonna hear me sneeze. That's. Do you really want to hear someone sneeze on a microphone? God bless, that's just weird. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. There will be a 200 subscriber special coming out very soon. I have 6 more videos to record and create after this, and then the 7th one will be the 200 sub special. I know, a long wait. I hope it comes up before the end of July. I'm sorry, but this is the Chaotic One saying